I'm Marie Meow. I am the social worker at the Cancer Center and also coordinate all of our art classes. I'm so excited to have Shelly Williams here today for our alcohol ink class from Craft and Light Creative Art Studios, which is located in Long Beach. So I will hand it over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. It is such a pleasure to be with you guys today and create with you. I've been looking forward to this for a long, long time. So I know you all got your kits, and I'm thankful that they arrived to you all safely. So I'm just going to walk you through the product that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be making alcohol ink coasters. So you saw the picture when you signed up, but we're going to be making these beautiful coasters. And you know what, it's going to be a lot of independent time, but I'm going to walk you through how to create your design, which really just kind of comes from, you know, your choice in color and your placement. But I'll be walking you through some ideas, but I want to take you through your products first. So you received 5 alcohol inks. You have your purple, you have your yellow, you have your forest green, and you've got your blue, and you should have your magenta. That's your 5 alcohol inks. So alcohol inks are these really, you know, they're strong, they're pigmented, and they can stain. So it's a definite ink that you want to make sure you're protected with. So I included some gloves for you. So you want to make sure that you're wearing the gloves when you are applying the inks. And when you're opening up the inks, I know they're pretty tight, so you're going to have to kind of squeeze really hard to open them. But no problem, they'll open up just fine. I just want to make sure you just expect a little bit of some resistance when you're actually going to twist top or turn the top of the bottle a little bit. Included also in your inks, I put some alcohol blending solution. So the blending solution, what that does is it's going to loosen that ink up so that it runs on the coaster. And again, I'm going to show you how to apply your inks and apply your blending solution that creates a really nice design that you want. And then I want to take you through this other piece here. This is your finishing product. So I was thinking about it. When I've done this in the past, you know, sometimes people just like to have their coasters just with the design, and they pop them up on their bookcases. Maybe you could put them on, you know, you could frame it. But I'm just giving you some ideas on how to do your finished product. So I've included, this is your finishing pack with the cork sheet. So you should have a cork sheet, and you'll place that on the bottom. It's adhesive, just peel the sticker off and you'll put it on the back. But we won't even get to this until maybe at the end of our time today. I'll come back to this part, but I just want to let you know what you have. And then you also have inside of this, you know, finishing product, you saw that there was a varnish. So with the alcohol ink, when you start to apply the ink, you're going to see it just gets really dry all of a sudden really fast. And it's great, and it can last that long. I mean, it will last long as you don't put anything on it. But if you're going to use it as a coaster, you do need to put some varnish on it. And so I included the varnish there. And you can apply the varnish with this nice little, this wood stick, which I think is just going to be just fine. You just want to glide it. And again, I'm going to come back to this at the end. I don't want you thinking that we're going to do this all in a moment. But I just want to introduce to you more about what the product is. And then I also included the gold leafing paper. Because this is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have a nice time at designing your coasters. And I'm giving you a few ideas with the inks, with the blending solution. And now you're going to apply maybe some paper to it. And that's just going to give it a little extra artistic flair, a little aesthetic if you like that. Again, I want to encourage you to really enjoy creating. And using the elements before that I provided for you, in just a creative way. So these are different pieces of art elements that you're going to apply all at once. This is what we consider abstract, right? So all these different elements coming together in one piece. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put my gloves on. Put my gloves on. Because again, you do not want to get this alcohol ink on you. I cannot tell you. I mean, has it gotten on me? Sometimes I come home and my entire hand is covered when I play my inks. And you can play. This is what we're going to do today, guys. We're going to play. We're going to have some fun. And we're just going to enjoy the time designing. But you want to make sure your hands are protected. Again, sometimes I come home and there's like purple and blue you know, it comes off. So let me tell you, if you actually get alcohol ink on you, go and grab some alcohol. All right, alcohol inks are diluted through alcohol. So just go and grab some alcohol, put a cotton swab on it, and just dab it up, and it'll disappear. And it pretty much just kind of dilutes through the material, and it dilutes off your hands. I've gotten it on my shirt. Again, if you happen to get it on your clothes, alcohol. Don't freak out, it will come out. You just put some alcohol on it, all right? So that's just one of those ideas to, it's preventative. Again, keep your gloves on, but if you happen to have a mistake, this is how you can solve it. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to
borrow
apply
the
ink.
gloves? Thank you.
Again, we're doing this pretty. I'm going to show you how to drop your ink on your coaster. And I'm going to choose, and again, this is the part where it's so fun when you get to design, because really you're going to navigate. I want you just to kind of let yourself go to a certain color. So I'm going to choose Magenta first. I'm going to choose my Magenta. And on my ceramic tile, I'm just going to simply make a drop. And it just sits there, and that's okay. And you don't see anything yet. But what happens when I blow it? Uh-oh, there was my paper. I'm just going to let it kind of glide on my coaster there and let it sit. And it's going to absorb in that ceramic. I'm going to go to my next color. I might want to apply some blue. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. And again, how you place your colors, really that's a part of the art. You really just want to let yourself just move through the coaster. This is your canvas. Now, where do you want to place it? Do you want it on the left side? Do you want it right side? Do you want it right next to the other color? These decisions are a part of your art. So what I see now is that my blue and my pink are now combined. And now it's creating this nice aesthetic abstract look. You can't really see it's a nice ink blot. It's going to roll off my coaster. I might kind of bring it down a little bit. Sometimes I like to move it just to blend the colors a little bit more. And what I'm seeing is that because I blended my blue and my pink, I now have purple, right? Because blue and pink, a little bit of the red created purple. So now I have purple. And it's awesome. I wasn't expecting that, but that's what happened. And I don't mind it. So now I'm moving to yellow because I'm thinking that maybe I might want to have just a little bit more of a, maybe brighten it up a little bit. And I placed my yellow right on top of those two colors. And now I'm seeing a nice combination. And when I add the yellow to the blue, for those of you who know the color wheel, it became green. So now I have green, and that's great. And this is coming together so well. I'm really happy with this. And I'm just letting it run, guys. And I have a nice little like rainbow of a blot going on. It's one big solid blot right here. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to try, you know, some people like to keep their colors or their ink blots all together. Again, it's your art. That's what I always tell people, it's your art. Now, if you want to cover your entire coaster, you know, and make it not, you know, white anymore, you can. Again, I'd encourage you to leave some white space so you can have that aesthetic look. But just one drop will do, not too much. Because the ink is very pigmented, you don't need a lot. And I'm going to give it a nice blow. I'm going to use my purple. And again, I like to use all of my colors. I know in the past, some people just navigate to one or two colors. Because this is what happens, you know, again, when you're creating, we were talking about it earlier, when you're creating, it's really truly a reflection of just how you're feeling, you know, what you're thinking about. And so as you choose your colors, really navigate to one, the blue or the pink. It's an expression of how you're feeling in this moment. So you can, when you're deciding where you want to drop and place your art or your inks, that's also a display of, what you want, a choice, right? And so when we're creating, again, what I always tell people when they're creating is that it's it's a reflection of who you are. So if you forget who you are, create, right? Because you always see yourself when you're doing your own art. And so as I'm going through this here, I'm just deciding, maybe I like a little green on this side, maybe a little blue on this side. I look like that I have a lot more cool colors today.
Do you find that depending on your mood, your color changes
My
too?
color does change. I'm feeling very relaxed. And so the blue is actually a very calming color, according to color psychology. I started with the pink. And, I think pink is great, but as you saw, as I moved on, I started navigating a little bit more towards the darker, like the blues and the greens. Green is, a representative of growth.
Mm.
But again, as you create, you start to see what's happening. And then you can almost kind of just talk to yourself through it. So at this point, we haven't used our alcohol blending solution. I'm going to show you how to use that in the next step. But I just really want you to get used to applying the ink onto your coasters. And what does that look like for you? And so you should start to see design. You should start to see, lines. You may see circles. You may see blending on its own. Let the ink really just travel and let it just have its own space and time on your coaster. Let the art create itself.
It's really fun to see.
Oh, wow, yeah. Look at this. Beautiful.
It's like unexpected colors are coming.
Mm-hmm. So these colors are really good at when they blend together. Like when you're saying, you're going to see them create new colors, those secondary colors to some degree. Like when I put the blue and my pink together, I had purple.
How long do you recommend letting it sit before adding?
A few hours. I would say about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours before you add the varnish.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't want the varnish to bleed the paint.
Okay.
Yeah, you do want to keep that paint nice and solid. All right, guys, so if you have a moment and you can talk to me in the chat, I would love to find out what you all are experiencing as you're dropping your ink. Again, right now on this first coaster, we're dropping the ink, and you should start to see form. You should see colors blending. Again, just because I would, usually when I do this, I'm able to see that I can hear what you're doing and I can imagine. So if you wouldn't mind, if you have a moment you want to share with me, if not, I understand because you're in your art. It's completely okay. But I just want to give you an opportunity to just express what's happening on your canvas.
And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box as well. Oh, wow.
So inside of your finishing pack, you have the gold leafing paper. So I have a few spots on my coaster that I think would look great with some gold paper on it. And so for those of you who are familiar with leafing paper, it's very fine paper. You know, it's, like almost foil, feather-like. You don't need to take much, just a little bit. I give you quite a bit. But I'm just going to place my little gold leaf paper on top. I'm going to put my gloves on because I don't want to get my ink. Place a bit of that gold, and really if you just kind of just place it lightly, oh yeah, all right, on the top of your ink. Again, we don't want to get our ink on our fingers, but you might a little bit. Again, I'm so used to it. There we go. And it just adds a little bit extra of an aesthetic, nice and pretty gold pop to your canvas if you choose that. Again, I wish you could see how it comes out here.
Maybe we could zoom in so they can,
you can
see. It's so beautiful.
You can use your gold or your wood stick even, I'm thinking right now off the top of my head, to apply it because the gloves are getting in the way. But it turns out very nice.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
And you let it tear. How do I get you closer? But in my paper here,
Okay.
you can add those. And again, this is just to fill in some spots. You don't need much. If you want to go this route, sometimes I do a lot of it because I like this paper so much. When I teach this class, I mean, it gets me, papers everywhere. And so you're going to see the paper kind of just, it'll dry onto the ink. If you're going to put the paper down, you're not going to put varnish on this. So you won't be using this part, but this is a choice. So just so you know, no varnish will go on this one because we don't want to take away, you won't be able to varnish the gold foil.
So for the ones that we add the gold foil, you would recommend that we use it more as a decoration. Okay.
I would prefer. I mean, I would recommend you use it more as a display.
Okay.
And again, I know people who choose to make this more of a display as opposed to putting their wine glasses on it.
It really looks like an art piece with the gold.
The
So
gold is
beautiful.
definitely a great aesthetic, a little added touch to it. And I'm just going to let it dry. So imagine if you have all three of these little pieces. I mean, they're just delicate pieces. So again, you could glue it onto, I don't know, another picture frame and hang it on your wall. Again, it can go on your bookshelf. It's just something, it's just a piece of art, an expression of something you did this morning, how you're feeling. And you can do this whenever you feel like it. Start your day. This is just a small enough art where you can do it frequently. And it always turns out really nice.
So pretty.
Dry. Did you want to skip
Yes.
So now I'm going to start my second one. And so my second coaster, I'm going to share with you how to use the alcohol blending solution. So the alcohol blending solution in your kit was this clear bottle. It looks like almost kind of like watery liquid, super clear. You know what I'm talking about when you see it in your kit. So it's the one that doesn't have a lot of color. All right, and you all should have gotten a straw. I believe everyone got a straw. So go ahead and unpack your straw. And so last time I started with magenta. And today or right now I think I'm going to move towards the green and go the green maybe towards my right. Again, this is how I'm feeling. I'm leaning to the right. How I place it, the color I choose, all an expression. I'm going to add another color. Maybe I'm going to add my yellow. And I didn't put them together because when I add this alcohol blending solution, on the first coaster, you saw that when you dropped the ink ran a little bit, and it just stayed in place as it absorbed into the ceramic, into the stone. But when we add this blending solution, I'm just going to add a drop. I'm going to grab my straw, and you can see when I drop it down, it's already starting to move. This is going to travel very far. I'm going to blow my straw, and it's going to loosen that alcohol blending solution and alcohol together and create that watercolor effect. I'm going to add a little bit to my yellow. And now you've got a nice blend. Again, oh, it's so pretty. It's looking great. And so in my beginning, when I showed you my first coaster here, you saw a lot of color. You saw a lot of color all over. And because I used a combination of just, ink drop and blending solution. So this coaster is going to have more blending solution. So we're going to cover a little bit more of the surface. I'm going to start adding my other colors. And again, one drop is enough when it comes to the solution. You don't need a ton because one drop will make it travel. It's a small surface, so you don't need a ton. If you start to put too much, it's going to wear out the alcohol ink, and you won't see much color. You'll see it diluted. Just a light blow using your straw. I see people when they do it sometimes, too much comes out of the straw. We don't want a lot out of the straw. We just want a nice little puff through the straw, okay? And you're using your straw as a tool, and you can direct where that ink is going to go. And so if you want it to go on the edges, blow towards the edges. If you want it to blend in other colors, let it blow in the other direction for the colors, okay? You're going to start to see that when you put blending solution in one color, you may or may not need to put your solution in the next color because there's already solution on the surface. You don't need to keep adding. I haven't used my blue yet, so I'm going to use my blue. And so when I do my color drop, when I do my ink drop, again, I like a little of the white. I think it shows a great contrast. I like place my colors together, and then sometimes I like them in their own little space, and I think that has a nice abstract look as well. So you again, choose your placement wisely. Choose what you want. It's the ink drop and where you place it is a part of your creativity, and it's a part of the art.
just seeing the colors move is so relaxing.
Yes, that's a good. A good. That's kind of what happens. A good way of describing it. You definitely are relaxed. I'd recommend this, like, a long day. Just come back if you have inks. And if you're feeling like, a lot of people don't know what to do with, when they want to be creative. Something like this is really easy. When I'm in my studio, sometimes I just sit down and do it. When I come into my studio, the first thing I need to do before I get going, before my mind gets, very just moving, is I have to create something. I have to get busy. I have to get in some paint. Maybe I'm drawing. Maybe I'm writing. Maybe I'm doing this. But I always like to start with creating. Because remember what we talked about earlier, creating is just such a, it's a self-reflection of who you are and what you want to do. So I bring myself to a place of center. I start creating. And then when I'm done with my little craft, now I can get on my emails. Now I can get to my phone calls. Now I can, do all that busy stuff. But I have to at least have a moment where I can just self-express.
I wish this kit was waiting for me at my desk every day. So relaxing.
It's relaxing. And it's relaxing, and you feel like a sense of accomplishment when it's done, because it's just enough that less is more. You can do more, and it's still nice too, but you always walk away with it finished. So I've done this craft or this art expression with adults. I do it with kindergartners. I've done it with fifth graders. I've done it with teenagers. Everybody loves this one. It's just, again, the act of design and creating is universal, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. And so everyone enjoys this one because of, again, what you're able to do through it. You can think, you can relax, you can just start something and finish something. It just really captures so much just personality. And again, self-expression that, it does the job. And it turns out lovely no matter, again, children, TK, kindergarten, I do it to, adults, long living adults. It always turns out a nice piece of art. It's beautiful. I think I might want to add some on my paper. That turned out nice. Oh, look at that. Wow.
Interesting colors.
Did you use all your colors? You did, huh?
I did, yeah.
They're blending well. So again, I'm using some of this, maybe a little bit. And again, if you put the leafing on it, this is your choice to make it a display. If you choose to do the varnish, you'll want to let it dry, like you said earlier, about 2 to 3 hours. You just really want to make sure the ink is like in the stone, because when you're at the varnish, we don't want the varnish to bleed it. And so when the varnish is dried, then you can use it as a coaster. But I like to display mine, so I always kind of add the little leafing to it. And when I say that, it's because I have a lot of these. I do have a lot of these. This is probably one of the projects, or the art expressions I love to do the most with people. So
You could create like a mural.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually thought about that in my, at least in my bathroom in the studio, because I have so many of these
Yeah.
that I thought maybe I could just decorate the door or the wall with them.
And they are ceramic tiles that you could actually
Yeah, these
even.
are ceramic. They're bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, you could do this on any ceramic. If you have leftover ink, you could add this again. If there's a plate that you have that you don't want anymore, you can put it on your plate and turn your plate into a nice display of art. Again, the inks do very well in porous surfaces. So I've done this on, if you're going to do it on paper, you've probably heard of alcohol ink on paper, and that turns into a gorgeous design too. What you do is you use a Yupo paper, which is which absorbs the alcohol ink and lets it spread, you know, like it does on this here ceramic surface. So you can get Yupo paper, and I've done that too. But again, I really enjoy using the ceramics because it does what I do with them afterwards. I like the display of it, just my personal taste.
Could do this all day.
You could do it all day. I know. I could do another one. And again, you see me tapping it on with my fingers. I'm not too worried about it. I took my gloves off because I want to get into this gold paper a little bit more. But again, if you get alcohol ink on your hands, just find some alcohol and you can wipe it off. As long as if you do it right away, it comes off easier, obviously if it dries. But it always comes off, so don't worry.
Love it. It's like instead of a canvas,
Mm-hmm.
you get to use ceramic.
Ceramic. And then I remember I had this wood stick. You can always press down here on these ones too.
I love the amount of like texture and texture the gold leaf adds.
It's a great aesthetic. Yeah, it
Yeah.
adds that variety and depth.
Yes.
So I'm wondering what you like. If you like that, using the blending solution? You know, I have people who don't like the blending solution. Are you surprised? Some people just like the drop. Again, it's your art. You may have thought, the drop is definitely more bold. It's definitely, you're going to, when you drop it, it's just going to sit. It's going to stand on its own. And so you're forcing the inks to create their design for you. And so that's a bold statement as opposed to you adding the solution and having them move faster, more fluid. I have two groups, and so I've showed you two different ways to create your design and express yourselves through the inks. And I believe, my trust, that you all had fun and that you have beautiful pieces that I would hopefully get
Yes.
to see, right? If you will figure out how to get those pictures, if you guys are taking pictures of your art, you wouldn't mind sharing those pieces and what it turned out to be after you placed your inks and applied your solutions and even your leafing paper. I would love to see it. And so I hope you had a great time. I know I did. This was just so perfect for me. I did two with you all again. You have three, so enjoy doing the other one. And I hope maybe you get to see those shots of what they look like when you've completed them. And if you want to take all three, a picture of all three of them together, that's even that would be a wonderful shot.
Yes, and I'm excited because we get to have Shelly back next month too for some marble painting. So please keep an eye out for the email when the registration is available. And that will be coming up in November. So we will see you next month.
This has been fun for me. Thank you guys. Enjoyed my morning with you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We hope we get to see you next month. Take care.